Hello and welcome to the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla. Of course, I am officially known as your mayor of PHNX, and I am joined by my vice mayor, my head of my council. It is the one and only Thunderstick Jesse Friedman.
New year, new me, Derek. We've got
That's
decorations
right. Look at
on
that.
the blank wall.
Look at that. The
But
void is gone.
The void is
This is
gone.
great.
And this
is
one
great.
is your doing, Derek. For those of you out there watching us, Derek gave me that as a Christmas gift because he was tired of staring at the blank wall behind me. But this one was my doing, so I take the credit for that one.
I had it with the blank wall, Jesse, as much as I had it with trying to figure out which lights in my room work. But I'm also in my new studio. This is the jungle. I'd like to welcome everybody to it. And we got some exciting things happening as far as 2022, Jesse. But of course, this podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code of PHNX. And simply for betting $5 on any NFL team to win, you will win $200 in free bets on top of your already existing winnings based on whatever you bet. And that is our code at PHNX. Jesse, we got a fun show to talk about today. We are going to talk about Arizona Diamondbacks resolutions for the new year. And I'm excited. I'm excited to give them resolutions. You know, usually you figure out the resolutions on your own. But no, not today, not this year. The Diamondbacks do not get to choose their resolutions this year. Jesse and I will be doing that for them. But a little, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it news, but there was some information that came out on CBS Sports about again, just kind of what we said, confirming what everybody kind of feels right now, which is that looks like the universal DH is coming. And it doesn't look like there's anything we can do to stop it. A to Robert York. How's it going, man? But of course, the speculation has started as to what teams are going to do. And the CBS Sports article took a look at likely in-house candidates for the DH. And the two that it came up with were Seth Beer and Cooper Hummel, which I don't think is that far off as far as designated hitters, but it was a bit surprising. It's a bit surprising that both of the guys they were saying are likely in-house candidates are minor leaguers versus looking at some of the in-house candidates that they already have on the main roster. It did specify that the DH would likely be the key factor in David Peralta and Christian Walker also sticking around with the Arizona Diamondbacks for the time being. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you think that they will turn to the young guys as far as the designated hitter goes?
You know, I haven't read the article that you're referring to, Derek, but I have to wonder how much Diamondbacks baseball the people over at CBS are watching because...
Well, they started off with saying, no, they won't let Madison Bumgarner be their DH. And I immediately was angered by that. That's not the right way to start off with me as far as DH candidates.
No, they lost their credibility right away with that. But no, it's a little... I could see Seth Beer for sure. I mean, we talked about him as one of our main candidates the other day. Cooper Hummel, I could maybe see him getting in the mix. I think Cooper Hummel really... a lot of his value will come from his defensive versatility. He plays a number of positions, including catcher, and I think the Diamondbacks are probably going to want to leverage that. So
there's no way Torey Lovullo is shying away from utilizing someone that is versatile defensively, right? That's his jam. That's his favorite thing. But Cooper Hummel also hit 311, 432, 546 with AAA Reno. So
we love Reno numbers around here.
I know.
We love Reno.
I know.
Numbers.
I swear to God, that's what we hear with every trade. Like even in this one, because we got Hummel in the Eduardo Escobar trade. So of course it's like he crushed AAA, hitting 311, 432, 546. Calm down. It's Reno.
Yeah.
All right.
Although I'm pretty sure I don't have his page in front of me. I think that Cooper Hummel, when he was with Milwaukee, was actually playing in the International League for AAA rather than the Pacific Coast League, which is I guess it's not called the Pacific Coast League anymore. I'm not going to call it what it's called now because it's stupid.
I'm with you. It'll forever be the Pacific Coast League.
It will forever be the Pacific Coast League. But yeah, so I'm a little confused by this. I could see Cooper Hummel potentially filling in there. His bat is definitely his biggest tool, but I think the Diamondbacks are going to want to see where he can slide in defensively, because I'm not so sure his bat is quite going to carry him to the level of being a major league DH. The thing that baffles me more than that, Derek, is that, and yes, good to see you, Brett Johnson. We always appreciate having you around. The thing that baffles me more about that is that I don't think Christian Walker really makes any sense for the Diamondbacks at DH. The reason the Diamondbacks kept Christian Walker on the roster, in my mind, is because Christian Walker is a very good defensive first baseman. That's why he's here. You're not bringing Christian Walker to play DH when he had a sub 700 OPS last year. I just don't see it. And certainly he could bounce back. I think there's a lot of hope for him. We know the injuries played a role in that. But realistically, I don't think the Diamondbacks brought him back so that they could, sit him defensively and just play him at DH. So, and same story with David Peralta. I mean, he's won not a silver slugger. He's also won a silver slugger. He's won a Gold Glove award. And I don't think you're trying to put that, take that out of your defensive lineup. So to me, that part of this is puzzling.
Jesse Friedman, I believe it was you that questioned David Peralta even being nominated for a Gold Glove last year.
Oh,
and you
absolutely.
Also gave us all the reasons why we shouldn't be that excited about a left fielder getting a Gold Glove nod.
Right. No, very, very fair point. My argument was that David Peralta is not that elite of a defender, which I stand by. But the Diamondbacks don't have a whole bunch of elite defensive outfielders waiting in the wings that are going to be way better than David Peralta. At this point, if David Peralta's in the lineup, you probably want him playing left field. I don't really know who I would turn to that I would like better in that spot than him right now. So I don't really see Peralta or Christian Walker playing much DH outside of, days off and, what we know Torey Lovullo will do in sliding guys over to DH is a method of kind of giving them a half day off, I guess, at least not having to play any defense.
Brett Johnson wants to know the fantastic name that the PCL is now, because it used to be the California League and the Pacific Coast League. Brett, I hate to break it to you, but unfortunately, they just call it Triple A West and Low A West now.
Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah. It's dumb. Yeah,
it's not great. No. And yes, we also love the freight train. Speaking of which, now that I've reorganized my office, I have the ability to bust this guy out now at a whim.
I love how we can't see your bobbleheads behind you. You just like pull them off the shelf. Once in a while.
Well, it's there for me. They're not for you. They're not for your enjoyment. They're for my enjoyment.
Right. Okay.
I really love the train sound for the freight train bobblehead. That's by far my favorite. There it is.
There it is.
But yeah, no, I'm not ready to part ways with David Peralta defensively. I'm not ready to give up on a lot of the guys, right? I think that's the thing. Yes, Brett, they are terrible.
It's just so lame. Yeah,
it's just so generic. It's so boring. The Pacific Coast League. I mean, exactly. There's something about it. I don't know. This is a universal thing, by the way. Like I think we just as human beings, we like to kind of have a little bit of mystery, So like in pro wrestling, using the letter abbreviation or whatever is huge. The WWE, NWO, DX, sure. It goes on, and it's always that thing of kind of being like you kind of need to be a little bit of an insider to know what PCL means or whatever, right? So now when they just say Low A West, you have to explain what the hell Low A West means in the minor league system. It's terrible and awful, and I hate it. Like,
okay. Question. I have a fun question out of the blue here. I'm curious what the people in the chat have to say as well. Is David Peralta, does he have the best brand on the Diamondbacks? Like, does he connect with fans more than anyone else on the roster? Because I actually kind of, I don't know. Yeah, what do you think?
I was going to say yes. I'll say yes just because David Peralta tries. He puts an effort in. There's a part of David Peralta that I see enjoys certain parts of being famous and being an athlete that other people don't enjoy, right? Some people just want to play the game. They would prefer if they never got bothered while they were out in public, and they would never, have side hustles unless it was like they're what they want to do in the future after baseball. But for the most part, I feel like most guys don't put that much effort into just being an enjoyable, entertaining human being. We joked about the TikTok videos a lot, and obviously they caused the curse of Baxter, but I don't believe that was David Peralta's intention initially. He was just having a good time, and those videos were fun. I've seen stuff he's done, just the way that he tries to connect with fans. I said at one point that Peralta was the face of this team. And I don't necessarily mean that as in he's the best player on the team, because that's arguably Ketel Marte. But totally. I'll say that David Peralta is the guy that he really wanted to be the face of the team. He really wants to go out there and do community events. He wants to interact with fans. He loves that. David Peralta, going back to my thing earlier, I feel like is the kind of guy that 100% would love taking a picture with you if you bumped into him in public and we're like, David, hey, like he would be all about it, Brett Johnson says, him and Escobar connected with a lot of the community here. I'll take their brands over Eric Burns and his Eric Burns show. Yeah. And you're right, because the thing about David Peralta and Eduardo Escobar was it seemed sincere, right? Even when David Peralta is doing stuff, there was times, I will admit, and he doesn't deserve this because I am as much of an attention whore as anybody, and you know that, Mr. Friedman. But I will say that at times I felt like it wasn't necessary, right? Like at some of the stuff he was doing, I was kind of like, man, that's so weird that somebody like of his caliber, a baseball player like that, wants to, be on TikTok doing the stuff that he, that he's doing. But it's just for fun, and it's just for entertainment, and it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of, I feel like, players that want to be more than just a super serious baseball player. They want to have fun. They want people to have fun watching the game, and they kind of understand that it's a form of entertainment. Some athletes, some players, they just take this shit too seriously. And it's our fault. It's our fault. We demand that they take it seriously, right? But then we also really enjoy when somebody's mic'd up at the NFL game. The other day, like I think it was Joey Bosa, where he was on the sidelines of a football game asking people what their favorite video games were, and going up to coaches and asking them if they play Call of Duty, and talking about like doing the Fortnite, Call of Duty dances where they like, stand over someone and bob up and down. Like, it's great. Like stuff like that, where they show us human side, or that they show that they have other interests outside of a sport, are wildly entertaining. Right. But it's, David Peralta for me, I think, had the best brand, and some of, I think for the most part, I think we got Brett Johnson saying after Goldie left, I felt like Peralta was the face of the team until Ketel broke out. And I completely agree with that. Right. But there's times where I look at Ketel in the locker room, or Ketel just normally. My video games want to participate in our conversation. By
this
the way.
Is amazing.
But I'll say that Ketel kind of reminds me a bit of Justin Upton, who might have been the team leader, might have been the best guy on the team at a point, but he didn't want that that face of the team label on him. He didn't want to be the leader. He didn't like that part of it. And I don't feel like Ketel is a big limelight guy as much as he just wants to do his own thing and look good while doing it, but I don't really feel like he has that same desire to be, the face of the team, just like David Peralta is. Yes, Brett Johnson. I was trying to keep it classy around here, but that's what he was. That's what Joey Bosa was doing, talking about teabagging. Anyway, hope you guys in the chat are all already part of the PHNX family. I know I've seen so many of you guys here so often, and again, we can't appreciate you guys not only participating in the chat, but being a member over at gophnx.com. You become a family member. You can either get that annual membership or month-to-month option. Annual membership will get you that free t-shirt over at PHNX Locker. They're wonderful shirts. I'm wearing one right now. Jesse had one hanging. Jesse's got a nice one on too. Yeah. We're having problems now in my house, Jesse, with like my wife and I.
The other one. I've got
my wife and I have our own PHNX shirts, and they're getting mixed up in the wash. I had two gray gray flag shirts end up in my drawer. That can't happen. But again, it's not a bad problem to have. Our t-shirts are excellent, and of course, they are the king of soft style. So go get yourself a PHNX t-shirt right now. Go do it right now. Well, finish listening to the podcast first, and then go do your thing. But anyway, Jesse, it's 2022. I've been talking about it all week. I'm excited. We're in the future It's the future from
Yes.
where we were at 2 years ago, but it doesn't feel like the future because it feels like we're in the same goddamn pandemic mess that we've been forever now. I will say that I have some New Year's resolutions that I made, but I was curious to see if you had any New Year's resolutions that you've made.
Just personally, just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just you personally.
Oh, Brett Johnson says he's on Fire Booker shirt as compliments from work. Okay.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I love yes, that one. That's a great shirt. And so is the Lowrider Booker shirt as well. So, but of course it's because it's Booker to God. But yeah, back to your resolutions.
Okay, resolutions. I'm not a big resolution guy, Derek, because frankly, I've never kept a resolution for more than about a week. And so at this point, I'm just more realistic with myself. But there are
Have you ever wait, let me ask you this though. Have you made active changes? Because you're still a young man, so I understand it. But have you made active changes in life? Maybe not on New Year's, but where you just said, like, I'm not going to do that thing anymore. I know that sounds weird because, like you said, the resolution thing tends to not be something we keep. But I remember at one point, like, I am a habitually late human being, right?
Oh.
And like, I just, don't get me wrong, I still fall back into that because I'm to be honest, I'm just really bad at keeping track of time. That's really what my actual problem is, more so than actively trying to be late to people's things, you know. But I also just have found that I started to get a little bit hypocritically angry about people being late to stuff, you know, like and
that's the most annoying kind of person,
really. It really is, right? The person that's late to everything but gets mad when you're late to it. So
yes,
but I mean, again, I think it might be maybe being a dad, you know, like maybe being you know, a little bit more responsible on my own due to this job that we now have. But I felt like not too long ago I'd made the conscious decision that I wasn't going to be late to things anymore. And I think that that to me is the type of resolution I feel like that is better in life, like something to just make your life better potentially and improve, you know, your situation, your interactions with people, how things go. I mean, I hate to say it, but it even affects the way, you know, people view you, right? Like obviously it does, right? But people literally can change their opinion of you if you're constantly late to the point where they don't even want to invite you to things anymore, right?
I had a college professor who because and I guess it wasn't just me, it was me and one of my buddies. We were always so late to one of our morning classes that she started giving quizzes at the beginning of class just so that we would miss them. And we learned our lesson pretty quick. Yeah, no, it worked. It's hard to get too mad at that. Yeah, I'm a pretty perpetually late person too. I'm definitely better about it now. I don't think there's ever been a point where I've like put a stake in the ground and said I'm not going to be late to things anymore.
Sure. It's much harder on yourself, I think, for you to, because again, being late tends to be in your nature, right? You know, but
yeah, it's just part of you, you know?
Yeah, it's just part of you.
You feel uncomfortable being somewhere early. It just doesn't, it's an uncomfortable feeling. So.
I think that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head.
It's like, what am I gonna do? Like, why?
Yeah,
like,
what am I gonna be there 5 minutes early? Well, am I supposed to just sit around and wait for everybody else to get there for 5 minutes?
Right? Yeah.
No,
exactly.
forget that. I'll show up 2 minutes late. Everybody will be there, and we can get the parties going. Right? Yeah. No, I'm with you. I definitely had, you know, I've had some mentors that said some things to me about being late. I'm a big fan of Jim Ross from AEW, formerly of WWE. And he's definitely a hero of mine. And when I spoke to him one day, and that was one of his first rules was, don't ever be late because we're media, right? We should never be the last one walking in. We should never be the last one showing up to an interview. There should never be a time where our subject has arrived prior to us. You know, we should be there. We should be prepared. They should show up. They should see us. If it's a one-on-one interview, you know, you should that was that moment, I think maybe that it clicked for me the most, where I realized like, wow, like he's absolutely right. What a like really, really narcissistic move to want to interview somebody else, but then you show up late for that interview. So I think that was one of those moments that kind of changed me. I do think that, with resolutions, they tend to be a bit more out of our control, which is why people can't necessarily keep them, right? Like, again, the being late thing, that it's in your control, but it's really not. You can actively take a role in that, but sometimes, like you say, it's just your nature, and it's what's gonna happen.
I think that's the lie that we all believe, is that
Yes,
we're
I
just,
can't do anything about it.
yeah,
What? I was
yeah.
late. That's the way things go.
Yeah, we're just play the victim card, and you're just, of course I was late because the world decided that I had to be, right? It wasn't my fault. It was someone else's.
Right. But I think more importantly than ourselves, I made one resolution.
Okay.
And that resolution was for me personally about spending a little bit more time with people, right? And like valuing some of the opportunities we have to be together. I've had some friends move away, and it kind of makes you feel like in retrospect, you wish you had more time. It's like anything.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, at the very least, I get to still talk to these guys. We Skype, we do podcasts together. We have fun. We
wait,
get on.
Hold up. You Skype?
Oh yeah, we're old people.
We
still
Skype.
Skype.
Skype still around, Derek?
Skype still exists. Don't worry. I promise you, Skype has not gone anywhere.
Okay.
You kids with your Zoom, your fancy Zooms and your StreamYards, whatever. We Skype. That's how we got to talk to each other back in the day.
Skype. That's how I used to do podcast interviews with Skype. That was the only way that I knew how to do it.
It's a blatant lie. We don't even use Skype. I know we use Zoom, but I'm just saying it and defending it now. But yes, Skype was the way we did stuff. And but again, unfortunately it is a lot like when you lose someone permanently, right? You wish you had that time back. So it's one of those situations where the one resolution I've kind of made to myself is to make that extra effort even though you don't want to, right? When your buddy calls you up and wants you to come out to a bar and you don't really feel like it, and you make some sort of excuse, you tell them you got COVID and you'll see him next week or something. Yeah, don't do that. Like, just go see him. You never know what's going to happen. So spend more time with your loved ones, your family members, because, essentially we get into this right now, especially with the pandemic, we get into this funk where we don't see people, and it's not exactly, healthy at times for us to not be around people. So go check on everybody, but nobody cares about our resolutions, Jesse. That's the honest truth. They want to know what resolutions we've come up with for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And
we've taken it upon ourselves. This is our job.
We've taken it upon ourselves. And I know for me personally, I hope that one of the first resolutions that Torey Lovullo has made this new year is that he'll stop tinkering with the lineup. That's what I want.
That's sneer.
Stop. He's so mad about it. He's so mad about me saying that. Look at him.
I have to know the context of this.
You know what his face is saying right there? His face is saying, I will not stop tinkering with the lineup. Over my goddamn dead body, I'll stop tinkering with the lineup. Torey, stop tinkering with the lineup, okay? Maybe that's one of the pieces of advice that the new coaches will bring to him. Maybe that's something like when he goes to pull that lineup card the next day, maybe Jeff Bannister puts a hand on his shoulder and says, now, Torey, we talked about this. I don't know, but I would like to see less lineups. I would like to see less players used. Obviously, the Diamondbacks set a franchise record last year for the most players used in a season. I understand that's out of his control. But that's never a good
though.
That's never a good record to set.
No, the Diamond. I mean, you're right. A lot of that is due to injury, so it is out of their control in many respects. But yeah, the Diamondbacks have kind of been known for this, right? They have a reputation for being the team who will switch up not only position in the batting order, but also defensive position day in, day out. It felt like Dalton Varsho played center field one day, right field the next day, catcher the next day.
He actually did.
It was.
You say it felt that way, but I'm pretty sure at one point during the season, he did that exact same thing.
I think he absolutely did. Yeah, and I think there's a good point to be made that especially for a guy like him, you really want to get him settled into some sort of a routine where he's not, showing up at the ballpark every day, fielding balls at a different position than he was the day before. I think it's just good for, especially for young players who maybe aren't used to moving around that much, to just give them that kind of stability.
Do you have any, Jesse, for the Arizona Diamondbacks as far as resolutions you would like to make for them?
Yeah. I think the Diamondbacks have a long ways to go in many respects for this upcoming season. I think a big thing, and again, you can make this is out of their control argument, but and this is frankly something that could probably be said for every single team in the majors. Every team wants to be better at this, but the Diamondbacks lost a lot of close games last year. Just a lot of very close games. We mentioned it the other day. I think they lost more one-run games than any team since the 1935 Braves or something like that. So that was just disheartening. Not just for the team, but for fans. I mean, I don't know if there's anything worse than a one-run loss. And in many respects, I think a lot of fans would rather them get blown out. And, you could turn off the game in the second inning, rather than staying there and watching the full 3 hours only to watch the wheels come off in the last 10 minutes. So I think just being better late in games, staying focused, and the bullpen is obviously a huge part of that. I'm not necessarily accusing the Diamondbacks of, losing focus or whatnot down the stretch. Obviously, their lineup and, the guys that they were forced to play was subpar throughout much of the season due to injuries. But I mean, you just can't lose as many close games as they did last year. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
I'm going to give you another one, Jesse.
Okay. What do we got?
I will not wear my pets' heads on TikTok videos.
That's the most important one, right?
Now, I feel like this goes without saying, right? But here we are, having to remind ourselves that we will not wear our pets' heads on TikTok videos. I thought
we shouldn't have to say that.
I shouldn't have to say that. I shouldn't have to say that. I don't feel like this is when a teacher says, like, I didn't think we needed to cover, like nobody,
I can relate
to eat
to
the
that.
hamster, that kind of thing. But like, hey guys, don't try to eat the hamster, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Also, take your money and go over to the DraftKings sports bet app. Kids, go do that. Use your code of PHNX. It's your code now. It's not our code any longer. It's in your control. Use our code of PHNX, and you'll get $5 in free bets instantly. That's your New Year's resolution, is to make some money. And new customers can do that by betting just $5 on any NFL team to win their game. And if they do, you will win $200 in free bets instantly on top of whatever you bet. So as long as it's a minimum of $5 or more on any football team to win their game, and that counts for both college or pro football, you will win that $200 in free bets. So let's wind down the season with a big win. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can get same game parlays and combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. Reminder, the more legs you add, the more money you can win. And that doesn't even count for same game parlays. You can get multiple game parlays or multiple sport parlays. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit, withdraw your cash whenever you want. A reminder, though, about the same game parlays, just taking a step back. Just reminder, a little pro tip. Remember, there's a special same game parlay sub menu that opens up once you do select the same game parlay option. So once you go in there, you'll find a whole new series of parlay bets and options you can make on the same game parlay. So make sure to check that out, and make sure, most importantly, to use our code of PHNX and bet just $5 on any football team, college or pro, to win. If they win, you win. $200 in free bets instantly, plus whatever money you win on the bet if they're victorious. That's promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over only, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. I know, again, this probably should go, this kind of goes opposite of what, what you normally do. You want to normally say, I'm not going to do things like this. Like, I'm going to refrain from being a socially bad person, someone who does things that people question, somebody that regrets the decisions they make, right? Like getting drunk and jumping in your own swimming pool. But that's exactly the kind of resolution I want to see the Arizona Diamondbacks make. I want them this year to say that they're going to get drunk and jump in the pool with their clothes on more often. That's what I would like to see. That's what I want out of them, Jesse. Like, I know, again, that's the kind of thing you say in the next morning, like, I'm not going to do that more. But no, that's not what I want out of this situation. What I want also, but see, this is where it kind of gets a little interesting, is I don't want their friends to do it. So don't let your friends get drunk and jump in the pool, but you guys get drunk and jump in the pool. I hope that makes sense.
I'm glad you specified with my clothes on.
Well, no, yeah, I mean,
to be safe.
Look, I'm clothes on or look, this is a pants free zone, and we are judgment free of your clothes. The other day I almost came on our audio podcast not wearing a shirt, and Jesse told me that the show is clothing optional. So now I know
when
that
we're audio only, I don't really think it matters.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but people don't want to listen knowing I'm naked, Jesse. That's not a comfortable factor for people, like I don't think that's gonna move the fan base much. But that's my resolution. You got any more before we go? Do you have any serious ones? What are they really doing? What do we really want to see them stop doing?
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks have made a lot of transactions recently that just have not really panned out for the team in a lot of ways. This was really apparent, really, in both the article I wrote about trades and the article I wrote about free agency. Mike Hazen has had a pretty decent track record for each of them, except for recently. That's really when things have started to nosedive. If you look at the last few free agents the Diamondbacks have signed, it's been pretty rough, right? Madison Bumgarner, that contract is kind of a disaster. Joakim Soria didn't pan out. Tyler Clippard didn't pan out, right? And even on the trade front, right? The Starling Marte deal, one of the more recent things that they've done, that's kind of turned into a disaster as well. So I think it's a resolution for Mike Hazen, and I don't know exactly. Be a good GM, right? I mean, it's hard to put this into words.
Do
right?
Good GM things.
Do good GM things. But yeah, I mean, I just think I think Mark Melancon was a great start for them. But just in this next couple months, hopefully when the lockout ends and the transaction field is open once again for this team, I would like to see the Diamondbacks do a couple of things. And I'd like to see those things pan out for a change, right? It's been a while since the Diamondbacks have really had success either in the trade market or in free agency consistently. And I think especially in free agency, the Diamondbacks have just they've just dished out so many $2-3 million contracts, and you're not expecting to get much in those situations, but the Diamondbacks have gotten even less than that. They haven't even gotten the money's worth that they've paid. So I don't know what the takeaway is there. I mean, it's hard being a GM, so I don't want to, make this sound like it's something that should be easy, but I would like to see that change for the team here this season.
It's definitely not as easy as not wearing your pets' heads on TikTok videos anymore, but falls kind of right in between jumping in the pool with your clothes on and not letting your friends jump it. Because once you go, it's inevitable that your friends are going to follow you in the pool. So, it's right in between there. But yeah, I'm with you. It's easier said than done. We sit here and we blow hards, can talk all we want, whether we're fans or pundits on the show. We could talk about how the Arizona Diamondbacks need to do something, make some moves, make something happen, right? I think there's far more that goes into it. I think there's a much bigger game plan that potentially is even a longer timeline that we consider, right? Like, I think we tend to think about sports teams having a 4 or 5 year timeline, but in some cases they might be looking even further down the road as far as when this team can expect to be, competitive again, when they can expect to be financially, solid and in a good place again. There's a lot of things up in the air. I still can't help but think, especially during this time of fan attrition, about Jerry Colangelo's philosophy on this team early on, right? And that is, unfortunately, that this town will support you, but they will only support you if you win. Right.
Yeah.
And you could say that about other cities, but other cities, even when their teams are bad, still come out and support them. They still
Yeah.
come out at least to yell at them from the stands and boo them and say bad
They might
things,
be
right?
booing, but they'll be
Right.
there. Yeah.
The one thing about Diamondbacks fans when it comes to the Diamondbacks being bad is it's worse than that. It's lethargy. It's not caring at all about what baseball's happening. Yeah. I get that. I got that apathy. A lot last season, by the way. I got a lot of oh, really? What's going on with them? Are they any good this year?
You still covering that baseball team? Are they in season?
Yeah. Got a lot of that last season. And again, that could potentially be worse than a lot of things. Robert York wants to know where the churro dog at, though. And you know what? He's not wrong. I want a churro dog right now, just talking about it. Since we're talking churro dogs, I'm going to give you guys this. All right. Here's my pro tip. If you go to the ballpark and you get a churro dog, immediately remove the churro from the equation. Take it out, separate it from the ice cream and the donut and stuff. Hot churros and cold ice cream do not mix. I don't care how much you want to make it a thing. Hot churros and cold ice cream don't mix. It melts the ice cream, makes the ice cream hot and melty. Nobody wants that. It makes your churro cold because the ice cream's cold. Nobody wants that either. It's all hard and stuff. Remove it from the equation the minute you get it. Then go to your seat, eat your bowl of ice cream and your churro as two separate things. Don't leave them together.
So
that's the best piece of advice I can give you.
Interesting. Are you also opposed to like a ice cream with like a hot brownie situation?
No,
fresh
Jesse,
out of
I'm
the
not.
oven brownie?
I'm not against the Pizookie. I'm not against any of those things.
Yeah.
The problem is what we're talking about is we are talking about at a baseball game. How long does it take you to get back to your seat at a baseball game, get settled in, and start eating your churro dog? Not to mention, if you're actually watching that event, how much are you going to actually eat that dog while you're actually watching the sporting event? It is not a culinary item that is meant to be sat with for a long period of time. It has a shelf life of 4, maybe 5 minutes tops. Chances are it's going to be expired before you even get back to your seat if you don't do something about that ticking time bomb that is a hot churro in the middle of your Sunday. Okay. Again, I give you all sorts of advice, right? Relationship advice. Here's my best piece of advice. Did you lose that person? Yes. Did losing them feel like you lost your arm, or did it feel like you lost your keys? Those are two completely different losses. One changes your life forever, and one's a minor inconvenience. If you break up with someone,
but is losing your keys really a minor inconvenience, Derek?
Look at you. That's how people would say it is a minor inconvenience, Jesse. Oh, you got to pay to order some new keys, and you got to go. Where am I? I don't have a master. Where am I going to get a new house key from? It doesn't matter. Eventually, within a month, you'll have solved all of those issues. But with a missing arm, you have to learn to live your life differently. So if you ever break up with someone, I want you to ask yourself that question. Is breaking up with that's my only other piece of advice. It's that and the churro dog thing. These are the only two good pieces of advice I have for any human beings out there. I just gave you both on the same podcast. I didn't even need to give you those. I could have made a whole episode around that. But
what are we going to talk about tomorrow now, Derek?
I don't know,
you're
Jesse,
fresh out of advice.
I have no idea. That's all I had. That's it. The barrel is empty. What we're talking about is if people followed through on their resolutions. I want to know how many people broke their resolutions before the first week of the year was over. But if your resolutions,
January 4th, we're well into it now, Derek. Yeah.
I think I said I wasn't going to yell more and I was going to be more on time, and I broke both of those in this episode because I almost missed this podcast with being late, Jesse. I don't know what's wrong with me. Can't do any of that stuff. But if your New Year's resolution was to look good and feel better in 2022, forget the gym, forget the crazy diet, go out and get yourself some new PHNX gear. Rep those teams and, obviously rep us. You're a member of our family. Show it. Head to the phnxlocker.com and pick up any sticker pack for just $5 or grab any t-shirt for just $29.99 and be the envy of all of your friends on your block. Again, if you didn't get yourself enough good Christmas presents this year, get yourself one more. Brett Johnson, by the way, before we go, says they took away the $4 value beers. Why even go watch a 50-plus win team at that point? No shit, Brett. Robert York says his resolution was to break his resolution without any shame, and I hope you did it, sir. I hope you did it. Cheers to you. Hats off to you.
You're gonna have
We
a
thank you
great
guys.
2022, Robert.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's how you kick it off. You kick it off right away, breaking it, being happy about yourself, knowing you accomplished your goals, and now you can move on and set new ones this year. But we hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Of course, you can get us on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K on there. Jesse is at Jesse and Friedman. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX Sports _sports, excuse me. And that is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And that name, again, was PHNX_sports. Send us your reviews. Send us a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. And again, if you don't think we're worthy of 5 stars, then just DM me and let's talk about it. We'll figure this thing out together. We'll formulate a game plan on how Jesse and I can get to 5 stars for you. But leave us a review, sign up on your favorite audio podcasting app, and make sure to go over to YouTube and subscribe there, as well as sign up for notifications so you don't miss any of our Arizona sports content coming out of PHNX. We appreciate you guys so much for sticking in with us. We hope you all break your resolutions on behalf of Jesse and myself. We hope you all have a wonderful 2022. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you set resolutions for teams that have no control over what we're telling them they have to do.